Code PRIMETIME for a 100% deposit match. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
To some, this might sound like a typical family dog. But at Dog Chow, we know that for a veteran suffering from PTSD, this could be the sound of life-saving therapy.
Thanks, Betty.
That's why we've made it our mission to connect every military hero in need with a canine hero of their own. To learn about the simple ways you can help Dog Chow in our mission, visit dogchow.com/veterans.
Sponsored by Purina.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, Scott Lehman here from Premier Auto Center. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
I'm Scott Lehman, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Got a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Hey Tucson, on your way to McHale, tune in to the biggest pregame show in the Pac-12, and after the game, listen for the highlights only on the home of Wildcats men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else, with the biggest pre- and post-game coverage in the Pac-12. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Sanders will take the low snap, pick it up. Here comes the rush from behind. He is sacked. Back at the 26-yard line, the Cats brought the house, and it pays off.
Johnny Nanson's defense. I mean, it has been so good this season that it is putting the boss man in a position to pick up a major college football award. Now, y'all know I don't really like the watch lists and all that kind of thing. Not a big fan of any of that. But we will talk about this one because this is a good one. Johnny Nansen has been nominated for the Broyles Award, which is the award given annually to the nation's top assistant coach in college football. And very deserving. Johnny Nansen's defense has been the catalyst to the Wildcats winning 4 straight games, 7 wins on the season, back to bowl eligibility for the first time in 6 years. They have risen from the ashes. Last year, they were the 124th ranked defense in the country. Now they are 35th in the country in defense. And you heard in that highlight there, it's been a number of guys. It seems like every week we're calling different names. DJ Warnell, who hadn't really played much defense this season, comes in, plays 10 plays, makes an impression, gets a sack, Sterling Lane also had pressure on that play. Deuce Lane, we hadn't really called his name at all this season. He was another one. He's probably the one guy in that 2022 class that really hasn't had a chance yet to break in to an impact role on this team that came in from that stellar 2022 recruiting class of Jed Fish that was the tops in the Pac-12. Dom Lolosio, 10 plays for Dom, and he came in and made an impact, made a big tackle on a scrambling Shedeur Sanders in that game. Seems like every week we're calling a different name for this defense, and that has a lot to do with the guy at the top, the guy that was brought in here to recreate it and to take it back to the top. And the first year they went out and rebuilt the offense. The second year they went out and they rebuilt the defense. And now Johnny Nansen's defense has made almost the same exact impression that Jed Fish's retooled offense did last season in getting the Wildcats to 5 wins. Now the two combined have gotten this team to 7 wins, on the verge of 8, potentially could be 9. And dare I say, the Arizona Wildcats still have a chance, although but slim, a chance to play in the Pac-12 championship game. Now, a lot of things would have to happen. Let's not get too starry-eyed about that, but there is still a chance for this Arizona Wildcats club. As we sit today, Arizona is 5-2 with 2 games left. Okay, Oregon essentially would have to lose their last 2 games. The Ducks are 6-1. I believe let me just pull up their schedule here. I know they've got Oregon State left as one of their games. Their other game is at Arizona State this weekend. So how about that? You need the boys up the block to give you some help to potentially put you in the Pac-12 championship game. You know Washington's likely going to finish 9-0. And then the next team is either going to be 8-1 or 7-2. Wildcats have a shot at that 7-2. You can get there. You've got a tiebreaker against Oregon State. Oregon State would have to beat Oregon. If you finish tied with Oregon State, you've beaten them. You win that tiebreaker right there. Things have to happen. You have to win out. Other teams have to lose to get you there. But it is possible for Arizona to get to Las Vegas the first weekend in December. And who would have thought that back when we all convened for that first practice in early August? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. J.W. Madden is here with us on this Tuesday afternoon, a regular show.
Yep.
Haven't had one of these since last Wednesday, really, because we had a show Thursday. It's a little shortened down because of the NFL, but we haven't had a full show, and this is actually a fuller show because we're going to take you right up to women's basketball. Arizona women's basketball playing San Diego tonight at McHale Center. We're going to take you right up to Derek Palmer at 6:20, so you get an extra 20 minutes with us tonight as we get you set for the Wildcats and the Toreros from San Diego. Arizona looking to go to 4-0 on the season.
Now, the Rose Bowl is a semifinal game in the college football playoff this year, correct?
Yes.
That's like poetic injustice,
right?
If somehow, some way, the final year of the conference is the year that they win the title. Not way too ahead of ourselves. But, yeah we are doing a normal show today, and we haven't in a while because we've had pre- and post games 3 out of the last 4 days. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is. It's the busy time of year, and it's going to get busier this weekend. We got basketball Friday night, football on Saturday, basketball again on Sunday. and
Can't
a
wait.
late night Friday.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
I got my cot. Got my sleeping bag. Can roast some marshmallows in here. It's going to be great.
Right, yeah. We're just going to camp out here overnight.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exactly. All right. Want to hear from you? 520-848-1290. We got a lot coming up for you. We are going to chat with Esmeri Martinez, the fifth-year forward for the University of Arizona women's basketball team. Esmeri is from the Dominican Republic. You don't really hear a lot about basketball players from the Dominican. A lot of baseball players. Yeah. But Esmeri, we'll find out how she got into basketball growing up in the Dominican Republic. Also, we are going to talk to Ted Robinson today. Ted Robinson from the Pac-12 Network. It's almost like we've had our own announcing crew this year.
Yeah.
For the Pac-12 Network. Literally, Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth have done, I think, the last 3-4 games that the Wildcats have had on the Pac-12 Network.
They like the Cats.
Yeah, and they'll do this Saturday's game here in Tucson. So we're going to talk to Ted Robinson. Dave Hickey will join us, his weekly visit here. We'll talk to Dave Hickey on another exciting athletic weekend for the University of Arizona. A lot of things happening. You've got a ranked football team. You've got a ranked basketball team. Just a good time right now on the field for the University of Arizona. Glenn Howe will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We will break down Arizona football as we do with him. We dive into all the units: football, offense, defense, special teams. We'll give out game balls. All of that is straight ahead in this particular program. Also coming up tonight, big night for Pima Soccer. They are playing game 2 of the national tournament out at the Keno North Stadium, and they're playing at the stadium tonight. So a chance to go out there and see them. If they win, the Aztecs are in the national semifinals. They are the 5th seed. They are playing the 4th seed tonight, Iowa Lakes. I believe that game starts at around 5:30. We'll confirm that start time for you. Get on out over to Keno North Stadium and cheer on the Aztecs as they go for a national championship, trying to win their 3rd national title since 2017. One of the dominant men's soccer programs in all of junior college. And it's right here in Tucson because, soccer is what we do here.
Yeah.
We do soccer. Or football, as I'd like to say. Football.
I played on the Fort Lowell Cobras growing up.
Oh,
and
okay.
Our coach was the former coach of the Mexicans junior national team or something like that.
Wow.
Because his son was in town and he was on the team with us. But I think we finished 3rd or 4th in state one year, but it had nothing to do with me. I was just there enjoying the Dairy Queen sponsorship, which came along with it.
We obviously, J-Dub did not have a normal show yesterday, and right at the tail end, I believe, of our pregame show yesterday, how about this announcement? Corbin Carroll.
Right.
National League Rookie of the Year. We weren't surprised by that.
I was going to say, that's I think, been kind of a known secret for some time now.
Unanimous National League Rookie of the Year. There were 30 voters. Corbin Carroll received all 30 first-place votes. So congratulations to Corbin Carroll, the first Arizona Diamondback to ever win the National League Rookie of the Year. 285 average, 25 home runs, 54 stolen bases, second most in the major leagues behind the guy that everybody believes will win the National League MVP, Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Atlanta Braves. Just 23 years old, Corbin Carroll, your National League Rookie of the Year. So you have thoughts on that? We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Cricket joins us here today. Whoa.
Greetings.
Whoa.
Is that
you
let
gotta
me move
turn
that? Well, who has been sleeping in my bed?
Exactly, right.
Glenn likes to see what's going on. So.
Okay.
Glenn Howell was in here and he was kind of messing up the cameras and stuff. So there you go. Now we've got you back, and it's like
I can barely
was that
see
was
you.
that the Three Bears? Was that yeah? Who's been eating my soup
Like
or
my porridge. Yes.
Yes, and then there was the little bear, and there's just a little bit left. Welcome back. We missed you.
Well, thank you.
I feel like we haven't talked to you in forever.
It's been like 87 days.
No, gosh.
At least.
Not maybe not that much, but just a
Okay.
few. Just a few. So how was your weekend?
I can't. That was forever ago. I don't even know what I did today.
Right?
It was a long time
It's
ago.
all blur. It's all just
Yeah, it's
blurred
like
together.
just yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What about you? I want to hear about your.
Oh yeah, went to Dusk Music Festival on Saturday night. Got out of here, got down there about 8:15. It wasn't as crowded as I thought it was going to be. I just was envisioning that it was just going to be like wall to wall people, and unfortunately, it wasn't like that. It was very comfortable. I actually got a very nice spot on a fence.
Oh, what?
Near the front side of the main stage to watch Seven Lines, which was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Now he only did 2 songs that I know, but the other, I mean, the whole set though was really, really good.
I did get a video sent to me.
Yeah, I sent JW a video.
Ready?
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Oh, whoa! You're gonna. What are we doing? My wife used to have a friend, and that's how she would, when we talk about house music, she would say, "Oh, unsa."
That's it.
I have no idea what the unsa comes from, but that was her imitating the beat, the 4 to the floor beat, as we like to say.
That's fair.
In house music. Yeah, so it was fun. There was a lot of weird stuff. I mean, there's like there was this big like tent. It was like this. It was, oh gosh, how do I explain it? It was like a see-through tent, and it was just kind of in the middle of this little like sandy area, and there were people inside the tent. I have no idea what they were doing inside the tent, but they were just inside the tent.
You didn't know it was a see-through tent. Could you see?
Like, I mean, you could see what was happening.
You could see, but it wasn't like, it was kind of not like clear see through.
Okay.
You know, it was kind of, you could kind of, you knew that I could tell you how many people were in there. I just couldn't tell you like what was going on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but nothing nefarious or anything like that. It wasn't anything nefarious. Then they had like a little inside room where there was a DJ playing, and that dude is funny. He kept saying, "I love you." Like every like 2 minutes, he would just say to the crowd, "I love you." Okay, we love you too, guy. Well, I don't know why you keep saying that.
He was having a good night.
He was having a good night. Lot of the Leaf distributors, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
I think every Leaf distributor in town was out there.
Had a booth set up or whatever.
Had a booth.
That's smart though.
Exactly.
You know,
plenty of chance to buy your Leaf if that's your thing.
And around the corner, all the food carts.
Yeah, the food was. I didn't
Yeah.
eat anything. I did not eat anything, but I like the way they kind of do it. They give you a wristband, and you put your card on your wristband, and then all you got to do is walk up and they scan your wristband, and you don't have to really. Once you're set up, you're just good.
Yeah, I did that once.
Yeah.
I think it was Innings Festival. They had a thing linked, and you could link your card to your wristband, so you could just go up and pay
I
with
think
your
that's the way
wristband.
most festivals work now.
Convenient.
So it was pretty cool. It was a good thing. I got there. Obviously, I got there late. I was only there for the last 3 hours, but I got a chance to see a couple of the DJs and then my favorite DJ, and it was good. So good night.
Now, when you say 2 songs, those are like 2 20-minute songs, right?
Right.
No, not that long. They were probably, they don't, even a concert like that, they play the short version, so you're probably like 3 to 4 minutes because they want to get in as many tunes as they can. But yeah, there was only 2 that I really knew. Because he's not like, I like Seven Lines. He's not like one of my favorites, but I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of a cross between progressive house and the drum and bass, which is also known as dubstep, which is a little bit thicker and hard. Like, I call it heavy metal house, which is like what all the young kids like, because you can go and shake your head until your brain falls out.
Like headbanging kind of thing? Oh,
that
okay.
kind of thing. Yeah,
I could tell you some stories. So I moved to Emeryville, California in 1994.
Okay.
And that's when raves started in London, and that whole Germany and London came over to San Francisco. San Francisco is like, I think the jumping off point in America for a lot of that kind of stuff. And we went into some parties in Berkeley at the time, and I don't think anybody really knew because they really were, that genre was kind of getting started. But I remember people in those days just going crazy because it was just such a new, just the beat and everything else. It's just, so almost every single party we went to sounded not too dissimilar to house music today.
There you go. Good times. Good times. Always great to be there at the birth of something.
Yeah,
right?
no, I mean, I was like, Rage Against the Machine had just come out with their debut album. So it was like, that was the kind of music that was going on elsewhere. And then, I just remember a lot of house and really deep, a lot of very heavy bass tracks was just the big thing going on that a lot of college kids are into at the time. And I'm really happy I remember at the time we thought, hey, maybe this is the fad or whatever, but here we are 30 years later and still going strong.
Shout out to Pork Chop for hooking that up for me.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Pork Chop from Kim. Be sure to listen to Pork Chop every morning on Kim, I believe 6 to 9. What are the hours?
5 to 10.
5 to 10. 5 to 10. All right, here she is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions, Pantano and Golf Links. Also in the foothills, Sunrise Drive west of Swan. Eastbound slowing on Sunrise approaching Swan. More busy traffic on McGee at Shannon. Also westbound Ahaway at Mission. And 57 the low and clear skies overnight. Partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow and now 83. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
Oh, what a nice drive. Get the
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Pleased to be joined by forward Esmeri Martinez, second season here at the University of Arizona. You're kind of the big girl leader on this team right now.
Yeah, actually it is.
What did you learn about the Pac-12 in year one coming over from West Virginia?
Well, a lot. It's different conference, it's different people, different players, and it's a good conference.
Different team, obviously,
different team
that you got this year here. A lot of young players. What have you seen from some of these young players like Skylar and Jada and Brea so far?
Ooh, I see toughness. Like, they really good. I love like the way how they play, how aggressive they are. I love them. Like, I love their game for real.
Doug, Adia kind of described this team as gritty. And like you say, they're tough. She said they're gritty. What does that mean? What are you seeing in practice that makes it so?
Like, I see in practice, they want to learn. They want to know stuff that they never been doing. Like, they really being like tough on practice. Like, they being aggressive. They be communication, everything.
Mm-hmm. We're joined by Esmeri Martinez, graduate forward for this team. Second year here at Tucson. Are you taking different classes this year than you were?
I'm on grad school now.
So what's that degree study like?
I don't really want to talk about it. I don't.
Not as easy as you would have imagined it to be, huh?
No.
How would you describe the differences between, playing in the Big 12 where you were before coming over here to the Pac-12?
Well, what can I say? Like, when I play in the Big 12, I think the conference was really tough. It was a good little team, but here I feel I don't know. I don't really know how to describe, but I think the Pac-12 is a very tough conference and have a lot of like tough players that we had to deal with.
Right. And when you look at obviously sophomore Maya Naji coming back from last year, also working in the post this year, what have you liked about her development into the second year?
Like, we really need her this year. Like, she won this key that we really need her inside the core. Like, we really need her because she's one of the big players that we need her to play, So I think Maya will be great for us. She will help us a lot.
What made you first pick up a basketball?
Why are you asking me that? It's funny. Because it is funny story. Like, okay, I picked up basketball because my brother, he was playing, he was betting money for three. Like, he was playing outside in the street. Mm-hmm. And I saw him shooting. He was winning money. And I said, I want to try too, So I tried and I started winning. I said, oh, I like it. This give me money. So I started doing it every day. And that's how I feel love.
So describe this game because I want to start playing it. Was he like every time you make a shot, you get like $2-3?
Yeah.
Like, how did that work?
Yeah. That game you can play probably like three people. Whoever make the most, like 5 shots. If you make the most, you win the money. And Dominican Republic. Yes.
It's such a big baseball country.
Yes.
Like, but where do people find their love for basketball there?
I don't know. I actually play like multiple sport by basketball. So,
And what made you? Did you always know that you wanted to come to the United States to continue? No.
And when I got my scholarship, I didn't know I was coming here to go to school. I thought I was gonna come here to play professional basketball because in DR we not go to school to play basketball. We just go to school to go to school.
Right.
We just have a professional league that we can play basketball. We need to do like here.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah. And how did you find West Virginia from the Dominican Republic?
Well, when I got my scholarship, first of all, I got here and I went to high school for a year.
So you went to high school?
Year and a half, yeah.
Okay.
In Tennessee, Chattanooga. It's called Hamilton Heights. And after that, I get a lot of offense. And I get to West Virginia.
It's awesome. As Mary Martinez joining us now, are you a baseball fan, having grown up in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, kind of.
Who's your favorite player?
Papi.
Big Papi,
Big
David
Papi, yeah.
Ortiz.
Yes,
all
of
right.
course.
Have you ever had a chance to meet him?
Nah,
No?
I wish. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And he's close from my city too. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a basketball player that the kids in the Dominican Republic really follow, whether it's men or women or anything like that? Was there a player you watched at all? Did you watch much basketball growing up?
I'm telling you, I didn't know I wasn't gonna play basketball. I didn't know. Yeah.
Do you guys even have high school teams there? Or
No, we don't play.
So you just play rec or whatever?
Like we have every tournament, probably like every year, that you can play only for a couple weeks, represent your school. Okay, from my city, you represent your school. You have to win the whole tournament to go to the good tournament, like to participate with all the biggest school from the whole country.
Right.
That's it.
Outstanding. Well, now you've found the game of basketball, and it's done you pretty well. And graduate school, maybe we'll work on that part of it, huh?
Yes.
We'll find out more about that later in the season and how that's going. As Mary, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
Thank you.
As Mary Martinez for the Arizona women's basketball team. They'll be playing tonight at home against San Diego with tip-off coming up at 6:30. Fifth-year forward, 6'2", out of Hato Mayor del Rey, Dominican Republic. Last year, she averaged 11 points and 9 rebounds per game while shooting 50% from the floor. So far this year, shooting 54% from the floor, and again, averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds through the Wildcats' first 3 games. Interesting story there, J-Dub. Started playing basketball because, I mean, again, you think about some of these country maybe underdeveloped countries and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Her brother was out there hustling. You make money, like you're playing for money out there in the streets. You make a shot, you pick up $3, and she saw him making all these shots and bringing home money. She's like, I want to try to do that. That's an interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of an athlete pick up a sport in that manner.
Hustling.
And a hustling in the streets where you grew up kind of thing.
Well, there's many paths, David Kelly, to getting to be accomplished at anything, and most of them require lots of practice. So if you're sitting there and you're maybe struggling to put some food on the table or whatever that is, you got a real good reason to practice that skill over and over and over and over again. The only guys I can think of, I don't know female players, but a couple of guys I remember from Dominican Republic. Chief among them, Al Horford, right? He and his dad, of Florida fame, playing with the Celtics now. He's from Dominican Republic. Also, that guy from Oregon, the shooting guard, I can't think of his name. Duarte.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Duarte. He's also from Dominican Republic.
Yeah. So.
But there aren't. My point is, there's not a lot of guys. There aren't a lot of people. It's not exactly a place you think of when you think of basketball. So, I love any kind of odd story that gets a person to a place where they're, again, practicing their craft, getting so good that they can play it at this level. So it's a great origin story.
Never realized that she was going to play it, and now it's taken her to West Virginia and now out here to Arizona for her second season. So it has provided her with a tremendous opportunity to grow herself as a person, and we look forward to continuing to watch as Mary ball for the Wildcats coming up this year. Coverage of that game will be tonight here on Wildcats Radio 1290 with tip-off or coverage with the pregame show starting at 6:20. So 6:20 is the start time, and then tip-off at 6:30, Arizona and San Diego. You'll hear that game tonight right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Are there a lot of Bulls in San Diego?
Bulls? I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Like that, right?
Exactly. Well, maybe slightly across the border.
No,
maybe.
I get the culture.
Baja, but I don't know that there's actually any. I've never seen any in like San Diego. Definitely not in La Jolla.
No, Encinitas. I don't think there are a lot of bullfighting in Encinitas.
I don't think so. Not at all.
My uncle was out there for 15, 20 years. Something like Escondido first, then Encinitas, and beautiful. There's a lot of places in this world that are beautiful. San Diego coast, just north of there, with the 62, 68 degree days every single day of the year, whatever it is. It's pretty ridiculous.
All right, we talked about this last night after the Wildcats men's basketball team beat Southern by a score of 97-59. I said this might make a good question of the day, and so it is, in fact, our question of the day. We'll give it to you right now. Who will be? We mentioned last night and it was mentioned in the postgame press conference that there have been 19 instances through 3 games of players scoring in double figures for the Arizona Wildcats men's basketball team. And right now, I believe, what did we say? There were 7 players that are averaging double figures.
10, and then
with an eighth
is at 9 points a game.
Yeah, so. With an eighth at 9 points per ball game. But nobody yet has scored 20 points in a game. So who will be the first Arizona Wildcats men's basketball player to score 20 points in a game this season? Here are your choices. I'm giving you 4. Caleb Love, Umar Ballo, Kylan Boswell, or Keshad Johnson. Kylan scored 18 in the opener against Morgan State. Keshad scored 17 points last night. So who will be the first to score 20 points in a game? And I'll give you those names one more time here. Keshad Johnson, Kylan Boswell, Umar Ballo, Caleb Love. Early voting right now, 40% say Caleb Love will be the first, 27% saying Keshad Johnson, 20% saying Kylan Boswell. Umar Ballo comes in at 13%.
I would go the opposite. I think
you think Ballo's going to go?
I think Ballo's the most likely because he is the person. If you look at what happened last night, right, with Southern, like the way that they countered that pressure defense was to go inside, take advantage of the fact that the other teams played 5 guards. You know what I mean? He's the guy that they're going to feed. He's the guy they call plays for. I think more plays are directed towards Umar Ballo's direction than any of those other guys you mentioned. Everybody else is just scoring because they're in opportunistic places within the offense.
Right. All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'd like to hear from you on that subject. Who do you think? You can, there's lots of different ways you can participate in this. We've got a poll up right now on our Twitter page, as we always do, so head on over to our Twitter page, at Wildcats1290. Question of the day, vote there. You can vote for about another 23 hours. We generally take these things from the whistle of one show to the whistle of another show. So you can vote on that there. You can watch us on a number of streaming platforms. We are on Twitter at Wildcats1290. This show is also video streaming right now on Facebook Live, Twitch, and YouTube at Wildcats Radio 1290. You can listen to the show on a number of different streaming platforms. How about Alexa? Ask Alexa to put on Wildcats Radio 1290. She will bring it right up for you. You can listen on Alexa. You can also head on over to our website and click on our app. You can listen at Wildcats Radio 1290 on either of those sources, website or app. Still trying to work on getting the app looking a little bit nicer for you. Hopefully we'll have that where we want it to be by the end of this year. Also, iHeartRadio app is another place to go and find Wildcats Radio 1290. Want to make sure we get you home, though, every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Reported collisions River Road and Via Entrada hit and run wreck reported. Other collisions Silver Bell and Cortero, Kolb Road and Tanque Verde and Colbin, also Sunrise Drive. To the west of Swan with some eastbound slowing on Sunrise approaching Swan, also Pantano and Golf Links. And some busy traffic southbound Thornydale at McGee, also westbound Ajo at Mission. 57 the low, clear skies tonight, partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer.
Beware, if you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com.
Look at that. That guy just got a great deal during the red tag sale at Fafita out of the shotgun. Noah fade to McMillan. One-handed catch. Back corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. T-Mac, how many times have we seen him use that one hand to haul it in?
That was spectacular.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
We'll get into Tetro McMillan a little bit later on this show, just having a fabulous sophomore season here for the Arizona Wildcats. But there is one thing that I'm a bit concerned about in terms of Tetro McMillan, and we'll get into this. I asked the question to Brennan Carroll today, and also I'll pose this question to Glenn Howe coming up a little bit later as well. But let's go back to the phone lines, 520-848-1290. In fact, we're going to talk to Tony Rodriguez. Tony is our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge player from this past week, but when we spoke with him last week, he was also on his way to Boulder to see the Wildcats take on the Buffaloes. Tony, tell us about that trip.
Man, that was it was an awesome trip. Beautiful weather. I think it was about 50 degrees that morning, for game time. But definitely, there was probably about 500 U of A fans there. We did some tailgating, and then the game was just back and forth. And you can definitely tell the way Colorado came out. They were ready to play us. One thing about Colorado team, they have a lot of speed on the skill positions. A lot of speed. I think Dion he's not too far away. He's kind of in the same, kind of following the same trajectory that Jed Fish, probably we're very comparable to maybe us last year. He's a couple players away from getting over the hump, but yeah, definitely great experience. We actually tailgated there. I saw I met Donnie Salem there. He had his
oh wow.
Yeah, I guess he you know who that is, right? Former U of A player.
Absolutely.
He's the one I think that I've actually read Gronk's book. He was responsible. He had a big influence on Gronkowski coming here because of the type of business that he owned. But yeah, we met him and just a very, very had a great time there. I actually also hooked up with the former punter here, Keon Kreiner.
Yeah, Keenan Kreiner. He's my original punter here back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah. So he lives in Denver, and I was able to hook up with him. My buddy Medina hooked us up, and so that was nice. So yeah, it was overall very, very, very awesome experience. Very good game. About 500 U of A fans there at the stadium. I was impressed with the facilities, the stadium, beautiful campus.
Yeah.
Everything about Boulder is very nice. But yeah, it was good. Definitely came away with the W. Actually, probably one of the better weekends, I think, as a Arizona fan that we've had in the just overall by us going down to Durham and getting that W, and then also winning on Saturday and improving on our football season. So yeah, definitely it was an awesome trip.
Now you say you mentioned just that you also went to the USC game. Who goes on these trips with you? Do you have a posse you travel with to these road games?
Yeah. I mean, I've got this Colorado game. My buddy Jerry and I and his girlfriend and my wife went.
Okay.
And then the USC game. There was I have friends there in Southern California, so met up with them, and two couples from Tucson also went. So we just try to we can get out there and maybe make one or two games, road games. We definitely try to do that if possible.
Outstanding. What did you think of Coach Fish's decision to take the field goal at the end and not score the touchdown?
Well, honestly, it would have been nice to get that touchdown. I think that we would have given them maybe left like 2 minutes or so on the game clock. But it actually made a lot of sense if you think about it, because the way that they were moving the ball on us, very easily they could have went down and scored and gotten the touchdown and won the game. So definitely, once we kicked that field goal, and once the game was over, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to me. And actually, it makes there's a big difference when you can actually watch the highlights and watch the game, from on the television versus being there, because there's a lot of things that you miss as a fan being at the game. Unfortunately, like I didn't know that Jacob Cowing was hurt and wasn't in the game anymore. And when I went back to watch the game or watch some of the highlights.
Well, that's why you got to have Brian Jeffries on in your ear. Pretend like you're 75 years old and you're at the game and you just got like one of those old headsets. That's how they do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'll start doing.
There you go.
No, but yeah, it was a awesome experience, man. You can definitely tell that there was pretty much a lot of the parents of the kids were there. T-Mac's mom was there. His dad, Jacob Manu's parents were there. I think they travel a lot, and it was nice to see them there. It's just nice to see, what our program, is becoming, I guess, is evolving to. Just because we haven't been very good, honestly, for the last probably 6-7 years, and it's just very gratifying to see, what Jed Fish and his assistants have done with our program, and it's just it's kind of bothersome that every week he has to remind everyone to make sure that the stadium is sold out and
Right.
and all of that, because it's like, man, when and I get it, like there was a weekend, I think Halloween weekend is kind of hard to do, because if you have kids or if you've got plans already, but I mean there's no reason why the game this Saturday shouldn't be sold out. I mean, it should have already been sold out, but it's just kind of frustrating that now he's putting a winning product on the field, and it's still not, we're still not getting the numbers at the stadium that we should, so hopefully it's a sellout this weekend, and because at the end of the day, I mean, Jed Fish, what he's done at our program is very, very hard to do in such a short time that he's done it, and you could just tell that he knows what he's talking about. I think 90% of Arizona fans, when he got hired, including myself, we were very, very I guess upset and just demoralized with that decision. And now that he's done what he's doing, not too many people. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you bring in, Jimbo Fisher or somebody with a big name. It's just very hard to do what Jed Fish has done. And if you think about it, in 2.5 years, I mean, and then when he came in, that committed class was already committed, so there wasn't much that he could do where he could bring in his own talent. So at the end of the day, he's only really had 2 recruiting classes that were his players of choice, and for him to do what he's done, I mean, man, I don't know if anybody else could have done that. So I think we need to step up, and I think we need to show up at the games and really, and I was talking to my friend this morning, I was like, we should, if you're a U of A fan, I mean, if there's anything you can do to contribute money to the program, like, dish out an extra $100, $200, $200, $250, $500, and to help the program, just because they need it with NIL and all of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Everybody's got to do their part to make sure that this program stays where it needs to be. Awesome trip.
Absolutely.
Awesome to hear you had a good time down in Boulder. Tony, appreciate you sharing that story with us. But we did bring you back because you are the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge Player of the Week. Are we going to hear J-Dub who he picked, or do we have that? No?
It was a little too long because you guys started talking about college football, and so, it's like hard to cut up. But we know that he did not pick the correct team. But that does not mean that he's going away empty-handed.
No. So I'll remind you that our game of choice was the New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings, and you chose the Saints. Is that correct, Tony, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, that is correct. I didn't think Derek Carr would get hurt in the middle of the game, but yeah, he got hurt, and I think that affected him greatly.
Yes, nobody believes in Josh Dobbs. I guess Josh Dobbs, like he didn't play all that well in here in Arizona, which just goes to show you maybe he didn't have a whole lot around him, because he's gone to Minnesota now and he's won 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, he's a solid quarterback.
Yes, he is. He threw for 268 yards and a touchdown. So, unfortunately, you don't get the $25 gift card, Tony, but you do get a prize pack from Miller Lite.
Awesome.
So, we will have that for you as well. We will let you know when that prize pack is available for pickup. And, Jada, we already have Tony's information, correct? So,
yes, we do.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you, Tony, when the prize pack comes in. So what's the plan for this Saturday? You guys, do you have a particular tailgate setup that you guys do every Saturday for home games?
Yeah, we're gonna tailgate and definitely going to the game. And my prediction for the game is going to be I'm gonna give you a score. Arizona wins. Arizona wins. It'll be a defensive game, but I think Arizona comes out on top. 17 to 10.
Wait, 17-10. Yeah,
Arizona wins.
Okay, it's going to be a defensive battle, so we're definitely taking the under this week.
I would say so. I don't think it's going to be a shootout.
Okay. Hey, Tony, appreciate you hanging out with us and being a part of the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. Stop by on the mall. We're on the east end of the mall by the Tweezers, so stop by and say hello on Saturday if you can.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good day.
All right, you too, brother. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. Let's get one more in here before the top of the hour. We'll talk to Tom. You're on the DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
How you guys doing today?
Good, Tom. How are you?
I'm great. Changing it up a little bit back to the Diamondbacks. What do you have in front of you? I'm driving. What's Acuna steals? How many steals does he have?
How many steals did he have? Let me look that up for you. I know it was 60 plus, but let me find the total number for you real quick here. He had 73.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yeah, and then Asterio Ruiz from Oakland had 67, and Corbin Carroll had 54. Bobby Witt Jr. from KC 49, and C.J. Abrams from the Nationals stole 47.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, congratulations to him. I was looking at the numbers, and what did he have? Total points was like 115. The next one was the guy from the Mets with like 71.
Yeah, well, when you get all the first place votes, it's gonna be a wide margin.
Oh yeah. What I'm interested to see is tomorrow with the Cy Young, Gallen, and then you've got the two guys, one from San Diego and one from the Giants. I think Gallen should be a shoo-in just because he went to the series. What do you think?
Well, and that's the interesting thing. I mean, Gallen went to the series. He didn't necessarily pitch well in the postseason. A lot of people believe that these awards should be decided, before the postseason. And in some instances, I do believe, I think the voting actually does take place more often than not before the postseason. They just don't announce the winners till after the season is over. So if that is still the case, and I'm not particularly positive of that, then I think he wins it.
Right.
But if they were allowed to vote through the playoffs, and then after the actual the World Series was over, he might lose some votes just because he didn't pitch that well until that last game of the postseason.
Hey, Tom, we only got about 30 seconds, but I got a quick baseball question. So Shohei declined his free agent offer today. He's going to remain. Now, Aaron Judge has the record, 9 years, $360 million is the current record. How much does Shohei Ohtani get signed for this offseason? Because it's got to be more than that, right?
I'm thinking around 4. Yeah, it's going to be big, and he's good and everything, but I don't want him to come to Arizona.
No, I don't think they're going to be looking that way. I mean, if he was maybe a tenth as much of a price tag, but
we don't have that much money here.
No.
Yeah, no, and I'm not talking about the money. I just, he's good and everything, but I don't know. I like watching him, but he's not a favorite.
Okay.
So,
Tom,
I don't know why, but
appreciate you.
One of those things. But, yeah.
Appreciate you checking in. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Dave Hickey coming up in the next hour as well. We will hear from Ted Robinson here shortly at the top of the hour and talk some more U of A football. It is DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Reported collisions River Road and Via Entrada hit and run wreck reported. Other collisions Silver Bell and Cortero, Kolb Road and Tancaverdi and Kolb, and also Sunrise Drive to the west of Swan with some eastbound slowing on Sunrise approaching Swan, also Pantano and Golf Links. And some busy traffic southbound Thornydale at McGee, also westbound Ajo at Mission. 57 the low, clear skies tonight, partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by GeneratorFranchise.com. Millions protect their homes from power outages with Generac home standby generators. Would you like to be part of this lucrative industry? Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer, has limited franchise opportunities in your area. Learn more at GeneratorFranchise.com.
Now, I don't want to make a big deal about this, but I'm going to anyway. The Chevy Silverado is now the #1 selling full-size pickup in Arizona. So, come to O'Reilly Chevrolet and find out why so many fellow Arizonans are in love with this truck. See them all at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during the final days of truck season at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Not one, but three first names. David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program, taking you right up to Arizona women's basketball tonight at 6:20. U of A and San Diego down at McHale Center. Let's talk some Arizona football with the man who literally, I think he's our own announcer this year because we've had him on pretty much every game, I believe, that has aired on the Pac-12 network. Ted Robinson joins us. Ted, who's cutting your checks this year? Is it the network or is it the school?
The checks have all cleared. That's the most important part. And I'll tell you, this Saturday will be our 5th Wildcats game of the year. And we're looking forward to it because it's a daytime game.
Yes.
I love. And I want to give the good news to all Cats fans. You won't be stuck with us for Territorial Cup.
Oh, man, that's a disappointment. I would have loved to have had you guys one more time because you guys are absolutely, you and Yogi are absolutely a great crew to listen to every single week. Has this ever happened for you? I mean, that you guys have kind of been maybe with one school for this many games?
Yeah, we have, David, and thank you for saying that. And, Yogi has a particular, I think he tries his best to mask it, but he clearly has a rooting interest for Arizona. He's got a long-time friendship with Jed, and of course, Brennan Carroll was his college roommate.
Yeah.
so those. Those personal connections run very deep for Yogi. So it means a lot when he sees the Cats do well. Yes, it has happened before, to answer your question, just because of the structure of the television package. The networks, the conference networks all across the board always get the last pick of games because the linear networks, the rights holders, are paying huge amounts of money. So they almost always get to pick first and second. So anyway, the point is, it's usually teams that are either not in big media markets or are scuffling that we end up getting a lot of games. So in the last couple of years, for example, Yogi and I have done a lot of Oregon State games. We have done a lot of Cal games. We have done a fair number of Arizona games. This year happens to be the extreme on that front. So we're accustomed to that. And the outlier, actually, this year, we did 3 USC games on Pac-12 Network, which is crazy. I mean, it's just never think that's going to happen. And again, I won't bore people with the reasons why, but that's the oddity. Doing 5 Arizona games is not the oddity. And guess what? Next year, whatever form this stuff takes, where Arizona's going, they will be on. I mean, they're having the kind of year that's going to boost them, and they're going to get a lot more, shows on the networks that are in 50, 60, 70 million homes.
Yeah. Ted Robinson from Pac-12 Network is our guest, play-by-play man. He'll be on the call again this Saturday, Arizona and Utah, 12:30 kickoff at the stadium. You have obviously now, we just mentioned, you've kind of seen this thing emerge here over the course of the last 6 weeks. What is the most surprising thing to you about what has happened with this team from when you guys first saw them and it was just starting to kind of come together to where they are now at 4 straight wins?
Yeah, the 2 obvious ones, I think. One is the defense. It's just clearly stepped up its game a huge level this year. And even on Saturday, this past, when Colorado nicked them a little bit in the first half, it wasn't all defense. There was some, Arizona lost the special teams game, so Colorado had shorter fields to drive, but the defense couldn't come up with that big stop. They did in the fourth quarter. That's what I was going to say. When the game was being decided, the defense rose up and played. So that's number one to me. Number 2 is Fafita. You could have never envisioned Fafita, whenever his chance was going to come, that he would step in and be this comfortable, this good. And the third one that really hit me Saturday, David, was McMillan. And again, McMillan came in with a huge buildup last year, and Jacob Cowley was the guy that caught like 2 times as many passes. And even the first part of this year, Cowling was more of a targeted receiver. And suddenly, and maybe it's the high school connection between them, but suddenly Fafita to McMillan is becoming really hard to stop. And even this past Saturday, when Cowling doesn't play in the fourth quarter, everybody knows the ball's going to McMillan, and he's still making catches. His contested catch, I was thinking about this Saturday during the game, the contested catch, he's starting to – I'm having flashes of Drake London.
Yeah.
Who was brilliant 2 years ago at USC. He's now in the NFL. And Drake London's strength was that whatever catchphrase announcers want to use for it. 50-50 ball, contested catch, whatever you want to say. The ones that aren't automatic, Drake London won most of them. That's what McMillan's doing now. He's winning most of those, and that's a great gift.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting just from the Colorado standpoint, Ted, I thought that the two things they did well were the two things that their coach did well in his career. They covered like crazy, which I think is something that No Fafita had not seen a team that covered his receivers like Colorado did. And they were great in the return game, which was the two things. Deion could cover and he could return the ball. The two things that he did so well, I thought were the two things that Colorado did extremely well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good knowledge, David. And of course, you didn't mention tackling. I was holding my breath, saying, "I hope you were going to say tackling." that was always the catch on Deion, was that Deion wasn't the most aggressive tackler out there. But Deion would tell you he didn't have to tackle because he covered all the time.
Right.
But anyway, no, you're right. They did, and the first half was very un-Arizona-like, and the completion percentage wasn't there. And yeah, Colorado has athletes. They have athletes at the skill positions on both sides of the ball. They're just really short on the line. And if Deion can go find some more Louis in the offseason that weighs 300 pounds plus on both lines, that's what he needs. Although the good news is like Arizona, Colorado's going into a league that isn't very good right now. And they should, Arizona's going to go in. I mean, they're not going to face anything like they're facing this year in terms of competition. And so, yeah, the Cats, the way they're playing, can feel awfully good about their chances next year, really stepping backwards in terms of the caliber of the league.
Ted Robinson joining us, Pac-12 Network announcer. He's on the call this Saturday, Arizona and Utah. Utes coming in here, obviously with a chance still trying to put themselves in a position for a positive bowl game coming off the loss at Washington last week. Bryson Barnes has been a very good quarterback for this team, obviously stepping in, for the injury. And then when you look at him and you look at this, obviously we've always talked about Utah's defense, but what are you seeing that he's been able to add to their offense that's allowed them to be successful in the games that they've been able to win?
Yeah, I'm going to use another phrase that people hate, but I think it's actually a very fair one. He's a game manager.
Yeah.
He does what he's supposed to do.
Right.
And a game manager is a positive. And somehow it's been twisted by certain segments of our world today to turn that into a negative. Heck no. It means he does what he's supposed to do. He executes he's not planning the offense. The coaches are planning the offense. You execute it. And clearly, as Arizona has seen, what has Fafita shined at? Not turning the ball over, right? That's the other element of this. And Barnes, he has suffered. He suffered in Washington last week against a high-level team. But overall, I mean, let's give this some perspective. I did the spring game in Utah this year. Bryson Barnes wasn't even going to be the second quarterback.
Yeah.
They had a young guy that played the entire spring game for one team named Rose, and the plan was for him to be the guy if Rising wasn't ready to go at season start. And then this young man, Rose, got hurt in fall camp, and he's out. They shut him down for the year. So that's what allowed Bryson Barnes to have the chance once it was known that Rising, wasn't going to start the year. Then we didn't know when, and now we know he's not going to play. So, but I mean, I'll say this about Utah again, David. I believe this firmly in having these retro looks this year in our final year, the 12th year of this Pac-12 network. The best football program in the 12 years has been Utah. The best program. They had 1 or 2 years that were off, but the program is by far the best. It's Kyle Whittingham and everything he's set in place now for almost 20 years. And here's the proof this year. Let me just ask you this, David. Take Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, and Dylan Johnson away from Washington. You think they're fifth in the country?
No.
That's what Utah just did. Utah lost its quarterback this year, Rising. Their best receiver, Brant Keithy, hasn't played this year.
Right.
And their number one running back, Mekhi Bernard, went down, hasn't played. So you take those three guys out, and they're 7-3.
Yeah.
That's a huge hat tip to Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, and the defense that they just continually play at a high level. every single season. Ted, I know you guys don't like to talk about yourselves, but obviously, you guys all feel like family. You mentioned 12 years with this network here in the Pac-12. A lot of people want to know what happens with all of you guys once this whole thing is gone. I don't know if there's, there probably isn't going to be a Big 12 network. I'd love to see it. I was always a champion of this network. I said, hey, we got to see sports that we weren't seeing, all the Olympic sports, all the baseball games, all the softball games that weren't on the air before the Pac-12 network came along. What's next for all of you guys?
Thank you for asking that, David. And I just want to tack onto what you said last, because that is the part of the Pac-12 network, and it's kind of the overall business plan when Larry Scott took over as commissioner that gets overlooked amidst all the criticism. And I'm not attacking the criticism. I'm just saying we've overlooked some things. And the fact is, this conference has always been the best conference in America in the Olympic sports category. But there is a darn good reason why it's been called the Conference of Champions. And that was what the Pac-12 network in part was designed to highlight. Were all of these great athletes and coaches and sports and huge providers of the Olympic sports, the Summer Olympics teams for the United States. Huge number of athletes come from, especially the 4 California schools in our summer. I mean, right now, in Tucson, you have Olympic medals divers preparing. I know them because I called their dives in previous Olympics. They're preparing for next summer in Paris. It's at the U of A. So that has been the part that I'm worried gets overlooked. The content and the production of Pac-12 network since day one, I'm proud to be a part of it. I hold it up to anyone. The distribution business model has been a disaster. There's no other way. You can't. I'd be insulting people to suggest anything else. And that's the sad part. And unfortunately, that's the part that gets talked about. So what happens to everybody is unknown. And, it's nice of you to ask, because I'm not sure how many people really care. And I would suggest that all of us with the network and the conference, it's over 100 people that are going to be out of work, are joined by people in all walks of life around these schools whose jobs are either going to change or be lost because of the lunacy that the leaderships of these schools has generated. And it is ludicrous.
It is. I absolutely agree with everything you just said there. Well, we're going to look forward to having you on Arizona football one more time this season with Yogi Roth. It'll be a fun day out there Saturday, and whatever happens next for the two. I know we'll, like you just mentioned, we'll see you on NBC doing the Olympics, so that there won't be there'll at least be another place we can see you continue to call Olympics and tennis and all of the great sports that you do. Continued success to you, Ted.
Well, thank you, David. I'm in a great place. No one needs to worry for me. But I will say this: I'm really happy for the Arizona fans. This is the second week in a row because I saw it firsthand in Boulder Saturday. The revitalization of a football program and what it means for the spirit of a school.
Right.
And everybody knows this, but to see it again is great. And the same thing has happened with what Jed has done in year 3 at the U of A, and that's why I've been there for a couple of games already. I'm looking forward to coming back to see it. For the last home game this week, that I hope there's a full, well-throated crowd for the last home game, because you're finishing a terrific year. And however it finishes, you're going to have a really nice game to play around Christmas time for the first time in a while.
Absolutely. Thanks again so much, Ted, for joining us all season long.
Well done, David. Thanks.
All right, Ted Robinson, Pac-12 Network play-by-play man. He and Yogi Roth will be on the call this Saturday at the stadium, 12:30 kickoff, Arizona and Utah. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Let's talk to cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Eastbound I-10 near Sunset with a reported crash and some slowdowns on the eastbound side of I-10 between Cortero and Sunset. Crashes that are clearing at Kolb Road and Tankaverde, Silverbell and Cortero. Another collision occurred Tankaverde Road and Tankaverde Loop Road. Weather-wise, clear skies, 57 the low, partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by GeneratorFranchise.com. Millions protect their homes from power outages with Generac home standby generators. Would you like to be part of this lucrative industry? Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer, has limited franchise opportunities in your area. Learn more at generatorfranchise.com.
Wildcat fans, don't miss your last chance to catch your Arizona football team in action as they...
Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We appreciate Ted Robinson taking a few minutes to join us on the show today. And the Wildcats will be welcoming in the Utah Utes this weekend. I mentioned, and we were talking there about Tetero McMillan, who is just having an outstanding season, sophomore year for the Arizona Wildcats. But there is one thing that I'm a little bit concerned with in terms of T-Mac, and that is that he is starting to take a lot of hits. over the middle of the field, on the sidelines. I mean, this is a tremendous young player. And you're obviously dealing with a quarterback, Noah Fafita, who is off to a great start to his college career. Over the course of the last 4 games, 4 wins in a row, he's played, 6 full games for this team, 4-2. He had a comeback win against Stanford in the fourth quarter out of relief. He had a fourth quarter comeback win this past weekend. Though I'd be interested to see. Technically it was a fourth quarter win because they were down going into the fourth quarter, but that drive which they scored to tie the game started in the third quarter. But technically a fourth quarter comeback for that team to win that particular game. But I would like to see what I'd like to see from Noah Fafita, and we've heard this before in football, is I'd like to see him, and again, he's young, so hopefully this is something that he'll add to his game and he'll get better at, and that's putting the ball in a better place for his receivers so they don't always have to leave their feet to go get it. Because when you leave your feet to go get the ball, and we've seen that Tetairoa McMillan is one of the best in the nation in doing that, you leave yourself open to being hit by defensive backs. And you want to see T-Mac on the field. And again, we were talking, and Jacob Cowing left that ball game in the fourth quarter. And I just think we've seen it now maybe a few too many times. At least I've seen it a few too many times in the last couple of weeks. I can go back to the game against UCLA. Tanner McLaughlin had to go for a ball, got hit in the back. Same thing happened to T-Mac in this game. He had to go for a ball, got hit in the back. Obviously, when you're going up in motion, you come down hard, which leaves yourself open to injury. There was a play on the sideline where he went up. I mean, the guy just came crashing into his legs. So just a few too many times that T-Mac and some of these receivers have had to leave their feet to go get balls. I'd like to see Noah put more balls on them in stride than what I'm seeing, for the benefit of trying to keep these guys healthy and on the field for this team.
I think about it, to give a basketball analogy, like Dennis Rodman had to guard Shaq, right? And there's no way that he can do that, but there's a physicality to taking on that role. And I think T-Mac, first of all, you go back to Noah Fafita and T-Mac's history. The first touchdown that he threw to T-Mac in a game was 8th grade, right? So their whole careers, high school, junior high, and here, they've played with each other. And obviously Noah knows that T-Mac's maybe the best in the nation at high pointing the football, right? I mean, not a lot of guys are going to be able to go up and get that ball. And because his hands are so solid, route running is obviously coming along, but it feels like that's what they've always done. Going back 8 years ago, they've always put the ball as high as possible. T-Mac's gone up and gotten it, made everybody look silly. And at this level, when you're talking about playing against teams like Colorado, that's a lot of pride on that side of the ball. They came out strong, struggled these last 4 games, 4-game losing streak. I'm not saying that their coordinators were talking about any kind of injury potential, as much as the only way you could deal with that guy giving up 5 inches, 4 inches sometimes. Defensive backs are generally 5'11", 6 feet tall, 6'1", right? I think that the physicality is what he's going to see. And you're right. It's all on Noah, and that's got to be a habit to break. When you've just always thrown that ball up as high as you can get it, because T-Mac's the only one who can go get that ball in a situation where, guys are really getting him shots in the ribs and that kind of thing. It can be more and more dangerous as time goes on. It's so hard. I mean, that one-handed catch and a lot of the sideline stuff he gets, I feel like Noah puts it where nobody else can get it.
He's very good at that.
Great at it. And yet the one with Tanner McLaughlin is a bad one. That one was, there was no doubt that the hit was coming. And right in the back like that, that's a real dangerous play. You never want to lead any receiver in a situation where you got a safety or whatever coming over the middle to lay that kind of boom on you. But yeah, I mean, definitely not the biggest guy is T-Mac in the whole world. So going up against, he's going to get deeper at the second level, going up some of those bigger safeties. That's a dangerous thing. I think it's more when Noah is scrambling a little bit, right? It's never, usually he'll lead the receivers over the middle if they're on a route from the other side type of thing. But generally, when he's in trouble and looking for a safety valve, that's when you'll see those balls get a little bit higher.
And so I guess that's kind of the question is like, I mean, again, and this is football, and it's a tough sport. And so is that, and you'll hear, we'll play a little bit later in the show. I'll play, I asked that question to Brennan Carroll today, and you'll hear his response on it. Is that just the nature of the beast? Is that the nature of the game of football that, that this is what it is? You guys, if you're a receiver, you got to go up over the middle sometimes. You got to put yourself in harm's way. Is that the nature of the beast, or can Noah be better? Are you coaching him to be better? To try to, we've heard the phrase throughout the time of football, a quarterback should protect his receivers. And there's times that I just don't believe that Noah is protecting his receivers as well as he could, and they're taking shots that you really don't want them to be taking out there. I want to hear your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Again, is that the nature of the beast? Or can Noah be better in protecting his receivers out there and not having to force them to leave their feet all the time to make catches and be susceptible to being hit by defensive backs in the open field? 520-848-1290. Again, that's the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We've got Text Groove opened up so you can interact with the show that way as well. And again, on our Twitter account at Wildcats1290, we have got our poll of the day. Our question of the day is up over there right now. So head on over there and vote in our question of the day. We'll update that for you here as well. And it is a U of A basketball question. Who will be the first Arizona Wildcat to score 20 points? It is flipping already, J-Dub. I think the last time we checked in on it, it was Caleb Love at 40%. Now it's Keyshawn Johnson at 41%. Keyshawn Johnson at 41%. Caleb Love now down to 28%. Kylan Boswell at 24%. And Umar has dropped from 13 to 7.
Yeah.
13 to 7%. And I wonder how much of that is the fact that, we haven't necessarily seen. Early last year, we saw a lot of the breakout games from Umar, but it's almost like he's kind of been just like, and I'm not saying he's playing bad, just quiet. It's just been a quiet, solid, Umar, nothing crazy, nothing fancy through these first few games this season.
I also think he's at the top of the scout, right? I mean, when we talk about the Tommy Lloyd offense, it's really freewheeling. They're moving the ball around. They're looking for an open shot. They're not calling double picks for Caleb Love to come off the top every single time so he can get 28 field goal attempts up, right? That's not the offense we're talking about.
Right.
So when you look at Ballo and how he started out at Maui last year, it was really a lot of high pick and roll with Zoo and Ballo finding that, high-low action or any way that he could get a seal. And once he got the seal, I mean, he shot 80% in that first stretch of 10 games. Right now, he was on a lot of people's lists, for the Wooden Award list he's on, for the Pac-12 Player of the Year, a list that he's favored for. So I think any scout coming in, going against this Arizona team, you're looking at weapons all over the court, and you got to make sure that Umar Ballo doesn't have 15 dunks in the game against you, because then all the guards, you're going to have to sag back in after that happens, right? So I think he's the person that they're trying to take out and push away from those easy spots on the block, which is probably why you're not seeing those numbers. Also, a lot of new guys to mix in, right? And so when you talk about bringing all those new players, I think everybody's it's kind of a hot potato thing, where it's not like nobody's hunting shots, they're hunting passes, TK. They're looking for each other. No, you take it type of thing. And I think, like I said in the first segment, eventually you're going to see a team that has some issues in the interior and some really solid pressure defense on the exterior, and you're trying to loosen that up. And that's when you call Ballo's number a few times in a row down the court. But honestly, any of those four guys, I mean, Keyshawn Johnson can get buckets from just about anywhere. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. Caleb Love is just a bucket getter, in and of himself. So any of those guys, I think, and Kylan Boswell is just Kylan Boswell. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of those four guys. I don't know of anybody on this team who's looking to score points. I just know of a bunch of guys on this team that are looking to win games.
Yeah, last year in terms of Umar Balo to start the season, I mean, the scoring line was pretty unbelievable. 18, 17, 16, 21, 12, 30, 22. He was averaging 19 points a game through the first 7 games last year. And so that's why I said it's not necessarily, but it's a different team. And like you said, J-Dub, it's a different style than what we were seeing at the beginning of the season last year. When he was getting, 8 to 9 shots per game from the floor, and the Creighton game where he got 17 and scored the 30 points.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the guys who came in, transferred in last year with Cedric Henderson Jr. and Courtney Ramey, those guys weren't exactly drivers, okay? Like, they could maybe get past the first line of defense, but they were really looking to pass. A lot of guys on this year's team, DK, are competent finishers in the paint from the guard position. And so a lot of that is, again, within the action of that system. They're not calling set plays. It's just a freewheeling kind of thing. I don't know that there is. Last year, they really needed early, especially 3 games in 3 days in Maui, they really needed to establish efficient, consistent offense with incorporating all those new guys. And I think Balo is just the option that was the most effective early and often, and they just kept going back to that well. He obviously got a little injured, thumb injury and whatnot along the way, so those numbers came down. But I imagine Balo is going to have a couple of similar stat lines before this season's over, without a doubt.
All right, Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers are proud to support University of Arizona football. This Saturday, the Cats are home for their finale senior day against the Utah Utes with kickoff at 12:30. To buy tickets, you can call 621-CATS or visit ArizonaWildcats.com. Keep it locked here, Wildcats Radio 1290. Also, for your chance to win your way into the game this weekend with the Utes. As always, it is game week, and Cricket has got tickets for you. And I think we will, what's today? Tuesday? We'll maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We might be giving out tickets all 3 of those days. Cricket might be. So, and bring your thinking cap, because Cricket doesn't just give out tickets. You gotta earn that. You gotta earn, especially this last home game. If you want to go, you gotta earn your way in with knowledge of this Arizona Wildcats football program. All right, straight ahead, we're going to talk to the athletics director of the University of Arizona, Dave Hickey. We'll get his thoughts on everything that's going on with his football team, his basketball programs as well. Triathlon wrapped up their year this past weekend, finishing 5th overall at the NCAA championships. Not a bad way to conclude a first season for Arizona Triathlon. They we mentioned at the top of the year, the benchmark is the kids up the street in Tempe, because they are the best at it. And so the Wildcats definitely wanting to quickly put themselves in that position where ASU is and create the top 2 programs in the country right here in this great state known as 48. So good finish for the triathlon to their first season, and looking for much more coming down the line.
It's ideal training, right? I mean, I remember the Tour de France guys used to train out here a lot, going up and down Mount Lemmon, because it would be nice year round, right? So when you had snow in the Alps, you couldn't exactly train. And then you talk about just the elevation changes in general. I mean, it's just a great spot to set up that team.
Arizona State won the national championship again. I'm gonna skip 2 because I want to find out if you've ever heard of this university. 3 was San Francisco, 4 was the University of Denver. They do more than ski there. And 5 was Arizona. The school that finished second, Queen's University of Charlotte.
Ooh.
I've never heard of Queen's University of Charlotte.
North Carolina, Queens. No, never heard of it.
That would fit in New York, maybe. Queen's University of New York.
Indeed.
Queen's University of Charlotte finished second behind ASU in the Women's NCAA National Triathlon Championships this past weekend. The top Arizona scorer at that event was Laura Halansky, and she finished with a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 52 seconds. So congratulations to Laura. She took 11th place overall. We'll talk to Dave Hickey straight ahead. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Reported collisions, 1st Avenue near Oracle, working Grant Road and Rosemont. Eastbound I-10 near Sunset for a collision and slowing on the eastbound side of I-10 approaching and passing Ina. More slowing southbound Silverbell at El Camino del Cerro. And also clearing Kolb Road and Tanca Verde was slowing at that intersection. Clear skies, 57 the low, partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow, and 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by KFC. KFC's 2 for $5 chicken wraps. 'Tis the season for tasty goodness. With KFC's new mac and cheese, classic and spicy slaw chicken wraps. Did they mention you can get any 2 for only $5? It's finger licking good.
Research says the average person has over 1,460 dreams per year. If one of those dreams is to get a great deal on your next vehicle, you need to see us during the Red Tag sale at O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cactus RV and Marine off the I-10 frontage road north of Ruthroff, or visit cactusrv.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. It looks like our long, hot summer is finally over, and cooler temperatures are great news for us and mostly good news for your car. But for some of you, the cooler overnight temperatures will be just enough to trigger your tire's low-pressure warning light. In most cases, you can solve the problem simply by adding the correct amount of air to your tires, and then get back to enjoying the cooler temperatures. As always, you can stop by any of our 14-area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if you need help with that low-pressure warning light, we fix those too. This month, mention this ad, and with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor, we'll install it in your wheel and rebalance your tire. Appointment online, or just drive up. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Pachanga, Pachanga, Pachanga. Well, no matter how you say Pachanga, it's more than a party, more than a fiesta, even more than Mardi Gras. Pachanga is Tucson's own end-of-the-year never-ending Super Bash, including the December 30th Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl and the Taco Bell New Year's Eve Downtown Bowl Bash. Start your Pachanga journey at thearizonabowl.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 has been through all the ups that Wildcats fans experience.
Here comes the posse, and they sack him. Navy shirts everywhere.
They are swarming tonight.
And the downs.
Ball is loose. Bulldogs pick it up. The 4th Arizona turnover of the night.
1290 is always there by your side to bring you all the raw emotion of the moments that matter to Wildcats fans. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey guys, I have a riddle. I hate it already. I'm wearing a polar bear disguise to provide service with no compromise. You're an Alaskification. Wait, I'm not done. It's a vital annual task, even though I'm behind a mask. Alaskification. You're an Alaskification. Don't spoil it for Ron. Alaskification. When I'm done, you won't shed a tear, because your heater will be guaranteed for a whole long year. Who am I? Alaskification. How'd you guess?
Gary, everyone knows the Alaskification from Alaskan AC is the finest furnace tune-up in town.
Everybody also knows Alaskan AC guarantees no breakdowns for a year.
And everybody also knows it helps you save money on your utilities.
Wow, how quickly did you figure it out? As soon as you said, I like to dress up in costumes. I never said that. I know what I heard. Ron?
That kind of gave it away.
Bah, what do you guys know? I'm going to go take care of our customers with our world-famous Alaskifications.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Don't forget your fluffy tail. Oh, thanks.
Wildcat fans, don't miss your last chance to catch your Arizona football team in action as they take on the Utah Utes Saturday, November 18th. We will be honoring our military personnel on Military Appreciation Day. It's also your last opportunity to watch your Wildcat seniors play in Arizona Stadium. Join us for all the excitement by calling the ticket office today at 520-621-CATS or by visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Bear down, Tucson.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out. Ew, my feet are stuck. In what, honey? On the floor. Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's chat with the athletics director at the University of Arizona. His name is Dave Hickey, and he joins us now. And Dave, you had a chance. We spoke with Ryan Hansen yesterday and got his thoughts on his first trip to Durham, North Carolina, and Cameron Indoor Stadium for a game. What was your experience like? You were there as well to see the Wildcats with that 78-73 win over Duke.
Yeah, it was a heck of a weekend. A chance to get down into real basketball country, that's for sure. But it's an amazing atmosphere. I've been in the building several times, but not to see a game, and to see it activated and really the life to it. It's an incredible experience. There's no doubt about that. And I think we've got an incredible one here at McHale. I'm not going to take anything away from what we do, but to have about a 8,500, 9,000 seat arena, just jammed to the gills, a student body that's engaged really, really highly. It's the loudest environment I've ever been in in my entire career. There's no doubt about that. So those people who have sent me emails saying, hey, it's a little loud in McHale or at Arizona Stadium, or the PA is too loud, don't go to a game at Duke, because you will never go, so again, the environment was incredible, and we want to make sure we continue to replicate that, because it needs to be an intimidating environment. But fun place. It's, big time basketball game, national attention, huge contingent of media, just go right down the list, lots of people in the stands, celebrity types in the stands, a great crowd of traveling Arizona people who their AD came up to, the Duke AD, who I know, and, was just so impressed with, wow, you really travel a lot of people, and not sure how they got in the building, but that's more than most anyone besides North Carolina fans that we have in the building. And so the U of A chants were obviously there. I think people could hear it on TV, and just an absolutely dynamic event and environment. It's been well documented. Both coaches have said this. That's what college basketball should do. It's been a tragedy, a travesty that through the years, coaches have not been willing to do great home-and-home matchups.
Yeah.
There was a no-lose environment there for either team. And, I have full respect of coaches and their ability. They want to run their programs the way they choose, and that's great. But that's short-sighting the game and the rivalries and what makes those arenas and what makes college basketball great. So really, again, shame on us for creating all of these other things that have kind of precluded or not allowed these games to occur through the years. So that's I'm off my soapbox on that one. So
well,
I'll get in trouble from some of my coaching friends, I'm sure.
Well, it's interesting because, and I think I asked you this question earlier in the year at the press conference you did at the Sands Club about the historic venue that is McHale Center. And I posed the same question to someone from Duke that we had on about, at what point do you think about maybe moving on to a bigger venue? Because certainly they could put more than 9,000 people into a venue if they had a bigger one to do that, but you have the ambiance of a Cameron Indoor Stadium that is so deep there, and obviously we have the same thing here with McHale. What are the intricacies in trying to activate around a venue like that when you don't want to move, but you want to try to get out of it as much financially as you can?
Well, I think, you need to look for other opportunities. The environment inside is very traditional. At times you feel like you're walking into the old school gym, a little bit of Hoosiers or a high school gym or the old school barn kind of college arenas. Wood bleachers, looked like somebody at wood shop, carved the numbers in of the seat numbers. No leg room. Concession stands, very traditional. Now, they've done some nice things around the building. Let's be very clear. They broadened it. They've moved it out a little bit, so they're kind of their concourse. They've incorporated Hall of Fames and recognitions for all of the great basketball history there. You can actually, so it's not like you're sitting inside the whole time. There's some area to move around. So you got to be creative, I think, that way. It's just a tradition-rich place. I think there's so many people there that would never want it to change. You've got to look for different ways. One of those ways is, well, I'll tell you, the demand is extremely high and the supply is very limited, and so the cost of getting into the arena is very high. And the new economic models, and we can talk a lot about finances because I know it's a hot topic, around this place, but it's a hot topic in college athletics on every campus. How do you operate? How do you generate more revenues? And really those very limited streams to do that, through our donors, obviously, but through our ticket prices, our donor levels, those things, are 4 or 5 or 6 times more when you go to Duke or you go to North Carolina than they are here. And so that's the reality of that. And so, but I think they've done a nice job in trying to do that. And that's what maybe we need to do. How do you activate different spaces? How do you maybe, move things out? We're not set up like a real traditional concourse. We don't have a lot of other income that comes in through concessions or novelty sales. It's not set up to produce revenue that way. We don't have clubs. We don't have, a restaurant. We don't have things that can really generate revenue. And so how do you do that without blowing up or moving to a new McHale? And that's our challenge probably over the next few years.
Dave Hickey joining us, athletics director for the University of Arizona. Dave, final football home weekend of the year coming up. It's going to be Military and Veterans Appreciation a game. I mean, you guys obviously honor the military and our veterans pretty much every single game, whether it's football or basketball. But what special things are we anticipating for this weekend in this particular ball game?
Well, it's one of our special days. You're right. This is we are a significant supporter and a military institution. We have a number of veterans that obviously have gone here. We're connected as a military town with our military bases around here in Tucson and beyond, in the southern Arizona area. So I think it's important that we honor those, and we'll have people from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in the house. We'll have them from Fort Huachuca. We'll have a number of veterans that call Southern Arizona home that will be in and will be honored through the day. So we've just done a number of things to bring all of them into the building and be part of this great game. But for all of us to really recognize their contributions to serving this country, to make it what it is. Many who lost their lives to serve our country so that we could do the things we're going to do on Saturday. We're going to have a great football game against 2 great teams in an unbelievable country, that has so many good things going for it. And that's because of our great military and those who choose to serve our country. So, it's a good day for families. We've got the 12:30 kickoff and a lot of things happening. It should be a great day game in Arizona Stadium. So really enthusiastic, really excited about it. We're tracking towards a sellout. There are tickets available. I would encourage people, if you're still thinking about it, get on it. Let's go. We need to fill the place up, and we're going to run out of tickets. So if you're thinking about it, call the box office or get down here or go online and order tickets right now.
Yeah, ArizonaWildcats.com to get those tickets, or you can call 621-CATS. Or, as Dave said, stop by the McHale Center ticket office to get your tickets for this weekend's game. Busy weekend as a whole. You've got, obviously, the football game going on. Volleyball's home this weekend. A couple of men's basketball games on Friday and Saturday. Keeping us up late on Friday, getting us up early on Saturday. It's going to be a full weekend of Arizona athletics events this weekend on campus. So be sure that you are involved in all of that. Dave, just before we brought you on, we were talking about the wrap-up of the triathlon season. 5th place at the Nationals. Not a bad first year for Coach Wes Johnson and his troops.
Not a bad first year at all. I think we're right up there in that upper half, and we've got a chance. We were a few points from moving up in the standings as well. So really proud of the young women in the program and what Wes has done with the program. He just signed a very elite class, so that program is headed towards really competing for the national championship. very rapidly, as soon as, I would say in the next year or two. So exciting stuff. Really, really, really exciting. And it should be a great weekend here. Hope everybody can get out here. It was a heck of a weekend. I had the chance to be in Duke and then fly in the morning on Saturday morning to Colorado, see our football win, which was remarkable. Awesome weekend, and this is going to be another big weekend.
Yeah, and you had the Learjet thing going on there this weekend, didn't you?
No Learjet, man. No Learjet. I was going right to Raleigh-Durham Airport.
Oh, okay.
Here's the little story. We woke up, the crew of us that went, we woke up in the next morning, and when we woke up and headed toward the airport, our basketball team and group had not even landed in Tucson yet to be home. So, and when we were on the airplane headed to Denver, flew into Denver, got a car, and went up to Boulder, saw the game. It was quite a trip. It was kind of an epic road trip, really. It was a lot of fun.
Well, Dave, a lot of people are kind of like speculating as to the possibility of Arizona in the Pac-12 football championship game. I mean, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. A lot of stuff has to happen. But obviously, as a department, you have to begin thinking along those lines and planning potentially for that situation if it were to occur, correct?
Absolutely. Like you said, we have to scenario plan for everything. We have to have options. It's wonderful that we're connected now and committed to a bowl game, but we have lots of different avenues that could happen. We are still playing for something, and let's not discount that. We're sitting here talking about our football program still having an opportunity to play in the championship game. It hasn't happened in a long time.
Right.
And that's remarkable. It's a credit to the team and the staff. But, yeah, we've got a plan for that, the what-if scenarios, how we're going to pivot really quickly on Sunday after the game, to the Sunday after the championship game for bowl invites and really begin planning that part of postseason. So lots of fun with our football program right now.
All right, Dave, before we let you go, as always, one final word to Wildcat Nation as we get set for a busy weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, appreciate all the support. I hope everybody will come out and support our basketball program. Men play this weekend, as you said, Friday and Sunday. Volleyball that really had a sweep this week. Come on out and support. What else would we want to do? It's a busy, and then have a great Saturday, a football Saturday. I do hope we've got the number 3 team in the country in men's basketball. Let's get into McHale. I know we've sold all those tickets. Let's get into McHale and fill the arena and show those young student athletes, those basketball players, how great it is to be a Wildcat.
All right, Dave. Hey, we appreciate you joining us always, and we will talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it, David. Bear down, go Cats.
Dave Hickey, he is the athletics director for the University of Arizona. Much more coming up in our final hour plus, I should say, of our show today, because we are taking you past 6 o'clock. We're going to take you all the way up to Arizona women's basketball at 6:20. Derek Palmer on the call tonight, right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Arizona and San Diego will take you up to 6:20. Glenn Howell's going to join us in the next hour. We will continue our talk on this Arizona football program, breaking down the Wildcats. All of that and more is straight ahead. I am David Kelly. This is DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Where is your pain? In your knees, your hips, your back? Well, don't let it sideline you any longer, and don't let them tell you that surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now for the future of pain relief. Again, David Kelly from DK on the Sports Tip. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, restoring and repairing damaged joint tissue the natural way. This is the science of using properties from your own body to bring you lasting relief with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics is trusted by patients all over America. Over 150 clients nationwide with advanced protocols that can get you moving again. Get started now so you can live big in 2024. Talk about a great use of your FSA, your HSA. Put them to work getting that relief that you need so badly. These new advanced regenerative treatments are getting amazing reviews from people with arthritic pain or just pain from an average injury. Again, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Let their medical professionals give you a better path toward that pain-free life. With 2 locations off of Academy and off of Orange Grove, call QC Kinetics now, 520-497-5600. 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. QC Kinetics at 520-497-4955.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Eastbound I-10 near Sunset, earlier crash there. Might experience some slowing in that area. Other collisions, Grant and Rosemont, First Avenue near Oracle. Kolb Road and Broadway Boulevard. Tankaverde and Kolb, some slowing at that intersection. Also Tankaverde Road and Tankaverde Loop Road. 57 the low, clear skies, partly cloudy, 84 tomorrow, and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss Provember at Lowe's. Right now, save $80 on a DeWalt 20-volt 2-tool combo kit. Was $229, now $149. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location, valid through 11/22, subject to change.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Hey, Bills Mafia, I would ask you how you're living, how you're feeling, but I already know the answer to that. After watching last night's absolute debacle, somehow something feels worse. Something about last night feels like the beginning of the end. Maybe not necessarily the end of this team's Super Bowl window, but it feels like the end of their Lombardi hopes this season and maybe the end of the Sean McDermott era. How many guys can he run off to save his own backside? Ken Dorsey was the latest. Somebody had to go after last night's debacle, but I know this, it wasn't Dorsey that put 12 men on the field to block a potentially game-winning field.